Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Catherine from Willow Healing, and I have the honor of having the beautiful Elizabeth Caplin with us today, all the way from Ireland, which is very exciting. So, Elizabeth is a hypnotherapist and a mindset coach, and she helps people overcome anxiety, self doubt, overwhelm, and the fear of not being good enough. After becoming a single mother of two in her 40s, Elizabeth rebuilt her life from the ground up while battling constant anxiety and uncertainty. Through her own journey of transformation, Elizabeth discovered the power of changing the way we think and feel about ourselves. Now she helps others find calm, confidence, and a renewed sense of control over their lives. And a big welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for being here.
And thank you so much for having me, Catherine. I'm very excited.
So, for those who are listening, not everyone would fully understand the words hypnotherapist and mindset coaching, because I know for me personally, when I hear hypnotherapy, straight away I get the idea of the people swinging the pendulum and people following it with the eyes, right? And I know it's a lot different to that. So, did you want to explain what hypnotherapy is?
So this swinging on the stage, that's entertainment. I don't do that, so I'm not sure what it is that they do. Well, I do know deep down what it is, what they do differently. But hypnotherapy it's a guided therapeutic technique that it uses deep relaxation and focused attention, Catherine. So it helps individuals access their subconscious mind, and we can talk about that later. So it's like it's a natural state that we go into. We experience it all the time. People are no need to be afraid because it's like daydreaming. It's like being absorbed in a good book or movie. So in hypnotherapy, I help people like achieve this relaxed state where they're more open to positive suggestions, and they can address issues such as stress, anxiety, negative habits, or emotional blocks. So it helps calm the mind and the body, making it easier to manage stress and anxiety because we have a part of the brain called the amygdala, which I'm sure you're familiar with or your listeners might be familiar with. And it's the one that fires off triggers to set people off with, panic attacks and all of that. So through hypnotherapy, the amygdala gets calmed down. And it is very beneficial for breaking bad habits as well, whether it's overeating or any other habits that you might have. Hypnotherapy can help rewire the subconscious to make better choices.
Yeah. And that flows in so
Hopefully.
nicely with your mindset coaching, right? Because then once you have that space where they're open and in a positive state where they can cause change, then you can tap into that negative self talk and the mindset work as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I'm a hypnotherapist, I just say like with a twist because it's not just straight in. And I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to the brain and how the brain works and, the organs in the brain. So I like to help people understand that because when they understand that, Catherine, they realize that, as I would say to everybody that I work with or anybody I talk to, is that we're not broken. Nobody is broken. We just need to maybe tweak a few things in the mindset. I thought years ago that I was broken, and now I know that I wasn't. This work has helped me tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Elizabeth, so your journey through overcome anxiety, I know that's something that on threads and Instagram and social media is coming up quite a lot. There's a lot of people going through these anxiety feelings and not knowing what to do with. So, if they were to reach out to you, how would that kind of look? What would you work with them?
So through a session, I would find out what it is the issue that they'd like to work with. However, Catherine, I can actually take somebody on that maybe doesn't even want to tell me what they're suffering with, whether it's they might be a little bit embarrassed about it, or they just don't want to disclose what it is that keeps them in bed every day, and what they're worried about, what they're anxious about. And because hypnotherapy works with the subconscious mind on the subconscious level, the subconscious mind knows everything, that's where that started,
Yeah.
how they're feeling. So I don't literally need to talk like we are talking now on the logical side, on the conscious side. My work taps into the subconscious, and it changes people down there. So they have to do is close their eyes and let me work. I think of myself nearly like a mechanic that opens the bonnet of the car and gets in. Where some people, like, the car's broken down, they're looking outside to fix it. I go inside and fix it. So they experience like a beautiful, relaxed, calming trance where when they wake up, they're like, oh my gosh, they think maybe they were there for like 10 minutes where it could be an hour. And then as soon as they wake up, like, they feel differently. It's absolutely crazy how much they feel differently, because in the subconscious you address the issues and the habits, and this that involves like visualizations and positive affirmations, or exploring past experiences. They might have had something in the past that was unresolved, and through hypnotherapy you can actually guide them back to that time, and they can change it, basically, literally, because, like I said before the session, our mind doesn't know the difference between real or imaginary. So if you imagine a better scenario that has happened in the past that maybe has been keeping you stuck or making you feel guilty or anything, you can actually change all those things in the mind, and the mind thinks that it's changed, and then those feelings of guilt and stress and anxiety over something, maybe something so small that happened before, will just have left their body.
Yeah, and it makes me, when you were saying that, I just had this memory of, when people see, when they experience something, the other person they might be with experiences it a different way. And then in the middle, there's kind of the truth, right? Of like, I guess there's three sides to every story. So there could be even more depending on how much is involved. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's because our emotions kick in and the amygdala kicks in and we go into that fight, flight, freeze response. So instead of actually taking in and going, okay, this is actually what happened, you just assign the emotion to it, which then builds into these stories in our head and belief systems. And then we get stuck in these loops of, I'm not worthy enough, or self-sabotage, or I will never have enough money, I want what everyone else around me wants, when you're not seeing it right in front of you. So for me, when you were saying that, that's what popped up. Yeah.
So true. And if I'll just explain the conscious and subconscious mind, if that's okay.
Go for it.
So that people understand, because most people don't understand how powerful their mind is. So, like, the conscious mind, as you know, is the part of the mind that is actively aware of our thoughts and our feelings and our surroundings. It's where we process the information, we make decisions, and we engage in logical thinking. So when we're aware of what we're doing, like solving a problem or having a conversation, you're using the conscious mind all the time. And that's the mind that's responsible for willpower and controlling actions that requires, you focus, attention. So this is why, say, willpower sometimes isn't enough. People say, oh, I try to lose weight, and they're putting willpower into it, or there's a habit they're trying to get rid of. Conscious. It was once a conscious problem, like, say, maybe as a child you experienced, your parents fighting a lot or something like that, and then you started maybe sucking your thumb. Something, I'm just thinking of something here. You started sucking your thumb as a child because, the thumb, as we know, it helps with worry. Even if you're worried and you hold on to your thumb for quite a while until you feel a pulse, that helps worry go away. So a child automatically knows to put the thumb into the mouth. So, and every time that their parents are fighting, or through life, they put their thumb in their mouth. So at the first stage, that thumb might have been just a comfort in that moment, and it was a conscious thing that child did. But after a time, like any other habit, it goes from the conscious, because the conscious can only hold on to 5 to 7 pieces of information at the same time. So it has to drop into the subconscious, so then it becomes a habit. So you try and tell a child at 12 to stop sucking their thumb because it's inappropriate to suck a thumb at 12. It's like me trying to say to you, don't walk or don't stop talking. It's a habit.
Yeah.
And that's why um, trying to do it on a conscious level will never work. But if you go in the subconscious mind, will through hypnotherapy can get rid of that from sucking for that 12-year-old or 22-year-old or 52-year-old that still does it on the QT, as it were. So because the subconscious mind operates below the level of conscious awareness, so it's like, I mean, I'm of an older generation, but I would like to think that, like, it's like a vast storage, like filing cabinets or a big computer of all our memories, our beliefs, our habits, our experiences. They're all stored in there, and it shapes our automatic behaviors and responses. An example I like to give is like driving a car. So
Yeah.
without thinking about every step, like how to press the brake or accelerator, you're relying on your subconscious mind to do that. What, again, like this thumb sucking, when we learn to drive, you're all up here and you're all like, you're nervous and you know what to do with your hands and everything. After a time, all of a sudden, you know how to drive a car. You can drive the car, you can talk to your friend, you can listen to the radio, you can drink a cup of coffee. And that's all subconscious programming. And the subconscious mind, as you're well aware of, runs 95% of everything we do, Catherine, on a daily basis, and it holds the emotional experiences, and it can influence how we react to situations, based on past events, and we're not even aware of it. Yeah.
When I was younger, I left my shoes down on this step in the garage, and my mum came out one morning, like this morning that I did that, and she stepped on my shoes and fell down and twisted her ankle. And then later on, and then it was like, like, why would you leave your shoes there? So then for ages, I was triggered when people left their shoes right on the step of the front door, or like in a door thing, and I couldn't handle it being there. And it was only once I unpacked it going, oh, actually, I'm triggered from that event.
Yeah.
And,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's how people get triggered so much, because sometimes they're not, well, they are triggered in the moment, but it's the feelings you get around a situation. So something could happen in the past. Say you get maybe bullied at school, or people not be nice to you in school, and then at that stage, you're feeling sick in your stomach, and you're all panicking. You don't want to go back into school, and then fast forward years later, and you walk in maybe to a new job where there's loads of people around, and the job is new. You don't know anybody, but you're within this circle of people that your body thinks you're back there when you were 5 or 6, and your body just reacts to what's going on in the moment. And then all of a sudden you're having palpitations, sweaty palms, and you're like, what is going on? Why am I feeling like this? And they don't realize until they talk to somebody like me and you, that can understand that it's not that's triggering you, it's the past event. And hypnotherapy and the techniques that I use can help people look back on look back on, say, a memory of being bullied, but the charge around it's not there anymore. So then as they move on, they don't have like that anxiety around, meeting new people and to crowded spaces.
Yeah.
So it's so true what you said about the shoes on the steps, because that was triggering you, and that's gone from you now, is it, Catherine?
Yeah.
You understand now.
Yeah.
It's amazing, all the things, when you understand it, it makes sense. and then you just it's just so different. Life is so different then.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's interesting too when you have relationships with new people. Like, so I was
Mm.
married before, and so was my husband now. And we both, when we went into our relationship, we were both triggered by these weird little things because it's just still holding up from the past relationship. So for him, I couldn't use the word stir fry or wok because it was very triggering for him. So
Yeah.
I had to like say like I'm making noodles and not use a wok kind of thing. And then for me it was red cars because that was just associated with my ex's family. Like I couldn't handle red cars, lots of things there. And then also like things about money would come up, which he's not like that at all. But it was a big issue in my last relationship.
Mm.
And it's funny when you go into these new relationships, you need to give each other the space and have the grace to call each other on that stuff and just be really honest and like, I'm not that person, to help that person, help the other and you to feel safe again, that it's not, it's not that history, that story repeating.
I know, and I think that's what happens in so many relationships because the brain, because we work in pictures and we don't, the brain pulls up from the past, brings it into our present, and shoots it out to the future. So when you're dealing with anxiety, you're afraid of the future. You're
Yeah.
afraid of things happening, and then when you're depressed, you're looking back and feeling sad and guilty and all of that about the past. But it it can destroy so many relationships when you keep referring to your ex or some, whatever it might be. And even if you like that go into a new job or different places, you compare from you go backwards. So with hypnotherapy, I'm a solution focused hypnotherapist. So I help people release the past. I help them let it go, just like let it go, and then move them on because um, I was stuck in the past a lot with my own being in a relationship of over 20 years
Mm.
and being in a controlled environment. On the outside, everything was perfect, and I give off this life of everything was perfect, showed up perfect, paraded around perfect, but it was far from perfect. It was so I had to leave that relationship with a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old, literally with just the clothes on our back and three suitcases. So over those years, I was, controlled in every way, and I didn't know who I was, or I had
Yeah.
no felt I had no control of myself. So when I came back, because we lived away after for 10 years, I had to rebuild myself in my 40s, and it was very difficult because I kept I was depressed because I kept going backwards all the time. I kept regretting, oh, if I had done this, I would have been a better wife. If I had done that, I would have, and all of this. Until this work showed me that going back was only going to reflect it into the future, that it was of no benefit to me to keep going back. And I know I'm like a broken record when I say this, but I know that hypnotherapy, Catherine, not only changed my life, but it saved my life because when I understood how powerful the mind was and how much control I had over my life, for years I had given it away.
Yeah.
And when I took back control over my life, and I understood that I had to love myself from the inside out. And then it wasn't, oh, when I got that car or when I got that better job or when I had that money in the bank. When I realized that when I was felt whole, because when I was in that relationship, I used to seek inner peace all the time. I would go to the sea and I would literally like, all I want is inner peace. I didn't know where I could get it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know. I lost myself completely in a relationship. I had self-help books, but I would have to hide them
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't like me to. He didn't want me to grow. He just wanted to keep me small, and didn't want, just didn't want that for me. So that I find that very difficult to be able to be myself, be my authentic self. I find that so difficult after. And I studied psychology and counseling. And when I studied psychology and counseling, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this because of this. I'm doing this because of
Yeah.
this. This is why I'm feeling broken. This is why I am. I. This is who I am, and this. I don't have to be this way. There is another way. And then hypnotherapy, I kind of fell into it backwards because I read an article where hypnotherapy, 6 sessions of hypnotherapy is the same as 600 sessions of talk therapy. I think it's out there to Google. And so I went and got trained. Then I thought I need to get some training for myself and my girls so that we have a different mindset and we understand. And then I had one session of hypnotherapy in that course that let me let go of all that I was carrying, like a big rucksack on my back
Yeah.
that was full of stones. And she let go of all of that in one session,
Yeah.
changed my life completely. And I just thought, oh my God, this is the closest thing to magic I have ever witnessed. So when I did that training, I'm like, I just need this to be heard by more people. It's not this, I can't keep this just from me
Yeah.
and my children. And it really did change. It changed their lives as well as mine, because just with the work that we do, and that I was like, I have to let more people know. A lot of people say, oh, you're my last resort. I've tried everything. And I'm like, oh, I wish I was somebody's first resort, because it can help. If anybody looks up the benefits of hypnotherapy, it can help with so many things. I know I've gone off track there, but
No,
we'll call me back,
well,
Catherine.
it was funny because when you were talking about what was happening in your relationship, I felt like I was looking in a mirror. And then
I
Elizabeth, I'm
told you
like,
before, we could be
oh,
related.
I know, maybe. I was like, Elizabeth's gone into my head and pulling this out, but I wasn't searching for peace. I was searching for happiness. So I had all the books on happiness and how to be happy. And then, hey, you should read this book because, you project onto others what you want for yourself. Anyway, and then, but the backpack analogy, so that gave me goosebumps because so many clients I work with, I tell them, let's visualize you taking this backpack off of all your worries and all this stuff that you're dragging behind you. I'm like, this backpack is massive. Can you please take it off? And often that image comes up for me again and again with the clients I work with. So it just gave me goosebumps when you said that. And also, Elizabeth doesn't want to be a secret anymore, people. Can you please go and find her?
No, I don't want to be a secret, and I did feel that through the marriage that I was that person behind somebody else. I felt like I was the shadow behind somebody that I pushed forward. That if he had said he'd go, there was a good opportunity on the moon, I would have been like, okay, let's pack a bag and go. And then it's finding my own voice. Then afterwards, I found that through hypnotherapy. I found courage through hypnotherapy. I found inner peace. Um, I have new beliefs now that I would have had a lot of old beliefs from the past, being brought up in an Irish Catholic family. Obviously, you have a lot of beliefs, and I would have had those all through my life. So I was able to change beliefs and bad habits even, and just, yeah, and now I'm me and I show up as me. And even though it's so strange that
I know.
people say they always saw that in me and they always thought I was the driving force in my marriage, and I never saw that. It's so strange, isn't it, Catherine?
Yeah, it is. And it's funny because for me, it's like people are like, oh, you're such a good speaker. And I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't always like that. I would dim my light. I would dim my light. And that was something that I was working through just the other week with coaching, where I was just like, oh my God, it was like that light bulb moment, right? And you're like, oh, that is why I constantly do this, because I'm like,
Mm,
oh, oh, hang on. I've got to put myself back in the shell. And then,
yeah.
a lot of what we work through too is, like you were talking about, when you go into the subconscious, is to take the charge out of the event, because it's only when we're neutral that we know we can move forward and leave that as just, that just happened to me, you know, that
Exactly, and it's a story as well.
yes,
So many people live in their stories, and we don't need to live in
no,
our stories, because every time we bring up a story from the past, or a memory, I should say, it changes anyway.
yeah,
So why not, like, just rewrite your story? I
I love that,
rewrite my story all the time. Just rewrite the story for the future. You know, think of all the things that you want, and because so many limiting beliefs and bad habits are rooted in past experiences, or unhelpful thought patterns. So let me see, like, for example, you might like associate stress or overeating or belief in you're not good enough because of earlier
yeah,
um, life events. And hypnosis, you can uncover those hidden connections without judgment. And it's just, yeah, we need to do this more. We need to rewrite the story, because we are in control. Our own mind, people don't realize, they give it away so much. They give away their control. We pull back the control. We use our reticular activating system in our brain to seek out all the things that we want, and we write down everything that we want, not what we don't want, because the brain will give you exactly what you want. I think now it's like AI. You type into AI, I want the recipe for a chocolate cake. You will get the recipe for a chocolate cake. You won't get the recipe for a brownie.
yeah,
So our brains are exactly the same. You tell it what you want. The RAS, like the reticular activating system, goes out and it seeks out what we
yeah,
want. Like you said there about the red cars,
yeah, yeah,
and that's like that was your reticular activating system. So that's a system, as you know, of
yeah,
neurons in the brain that's acts as a filter for the information. So the RAS decides what's important,
yeah,
enough to bring it to conscious awareness, like buying a new car. Say you suddenly notice those cars everywhere where before you never saw them. So every time you saw a red car, it brought up from the past an association with a red car.
yes,
And that's how our brain works. So if we can train the reticular activating system to bring us what we want, it's like, at this time, and I know this will go out way after Christmas, but a child will only write on its list what they want from Santa. They are not going to write, "Oh, I don't want a bicycle. I don't want spare."
I
They
don't
will
want
only write
undies,
what they
yeah,
want. When we're going to the shop, we only write down what we want.
mm-hmm.
We don't write down what you don't want. And so our brains, that's how, if people understand, that's how powerful the brain is. Tell it what you want, and
Yeah.
it will bring it to you.
And it amazes me how many people, when you say, what do you want, we don't actually
They
know
don't
all the
know.
time, right? So what I tell my clients is write down what you don't want, and then write the opposite on another piece of paper, and then
Such a good idea.
burn that first thing.
Yeah. Burn it. Yeah,
Burn it.
get rid
Get
of it.
rid of it.
You're so
Yeah.
right.
That's it.
Yeah.
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 Because even we did this exercise, I just did this the other day, and it was like, write down 10 things you want. And, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, because I was so stuck in this what I wanted for the last year. And I was like, no, that's completely changed. I want bigger now, and I want, because it's like once you heal that original story, okay, that's not an issue anymore. That's not what I want to focus and put my attention on anymore. What's my purpose? What's my drive? What's going to get me up out of bed in the morning and want to change the world? Which I feel that's what you found through hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm. Little pieces at a time,
Yeah, yeah,
little steps at a time. Yeah,
definitely.
because our limiting, like our limiting beliefs that are holding us back, as you know, like if you, they're rooted in past experiences, emotional responses. They're rooted there, like in that unhelpful thought patterns, the patterns I had playing over the self-talk. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, how could you do that? Don't be so stupid. There's so many people out there doing that better than you. So when you and you're so, and then because of an earlier event, you think that that's who you are, and you're stuck there. But when you can release that past, you're like, the people that know me now, because a lot of people know me now, that only my family and close friends know who I was before.
Yeah.
But the people that I come in contact with now would not know the Elizabeth or the Liz of years ago. They wouldn't. I'm a completely different person. I am on every level. Like, I would need a telescope to look back on that Elizabeth that of the past. Like, even growing up being really shy and you know um, just all the things. I look back on school, and I never liked school, and I never thought I was good enough in school. And teachers would have said, "Oh, you could never do that. You're not clever enough to do that." And so, like, I went through life thinking I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't clever, or I wasn't whatever. And I brought that into a marriage where somebody I was with was very clever, and I was like, "Oh God, I could never be as clever as he is." And so I had these beliefs all the time that I was just, you know, not good enough to do anything. But hypnotherapy has just taught me so much about myself. And like you, I would never I would never do this. I would never speak in front of people. I would just, I would never even try it. So it's like, it's been a game changer for me and my family and the people around me and my clients. I hope. I
And
know.
your soul journey and your life and all the amazing
Oh,
things.
it's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and it's you're never too old to change, Catherine.
Yeah.
You are never too
I
old to change.
I say you're never too young or too old to get reacquainted with your soul. Yeah.
Never. And I think the older you get, the more you want to be yourself.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times what happens with people when they come to, as they say, in inverted commas, midlife crisis, but it's not that there's anything wrong with them. It's that maybe when they started off on their journey, they maybe went and did a course in college that maybe a parent or parents wanted them to do, or want you to be a doctor or an accountant or something like this. So then they're led down this path, not feeling maybe fulfilled, thinking that, um, oh, well, it's a good job. And we were always told, oh, that's a good job, that's social, there's security and there's a pension, and your parents had your life mapped out for you. They had you retired and everything before you even started. So then people go down and they get married and they have family and they've mortgages, and then they're swamped and they really don't feel that this is the path for them anymore. And then that's why they feel, I'm getting older and maybe there's less time ahead of me than there is behind me. So now I need a change. I need to do something. But they're afraid. They're afraid to step out. And it's because they're afraid maybe of losing the people that are around them, because they see different changes in them. But I do believe that everybody should know who they are. They really should. They should know who they are, and they should have their ladder up against the right wall, because you could have your ladder up against the wrong wall and keep climbing it and climbing it, and you're never going to be fulfilled. You're better with a ladder against a wall and just start at the bottom step.
Yeah.
Just at the bottom step. Yeah.
Just
Just to feel what I feel. Like, just I feel inner peace every day. I just feel it. It's just so different than the life that I lived before, constantly in anxiety, constantly, having panic attacks in private, basically.
Yeah.
Worrying all the time,
Crying in the
stressing
shower and, just putting this mask on and pretending everything's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that I wore a mask way before COVID.
Yeah. Agreed.
Way before COVID. Yeah.
And it's like, it's funny because when you were saying midlife crisis, it made me think of this book I read, and I'm pretty sure she called it a midlife awakening, reawakening. And I find most people who are going through the spiritual terms of awakening, it's not about waking up, it's about actually rewaking, because it's like you're tapping finally back into yourself and actually reconnecting with your heart and your purpose and why you're here, rather than just putting put in these boxes that society has told us, like get the mortgage, get the kids, get the house, 2 cars, 2 dogs, whatever it might be. So that, for me, that's what's kind of coming through, is when you have that awakening and all these things are shaking up, and then you get your anxiety because you're looking at, oh no, hang on, this is changing, this is different, I don't know this. And then you get your depression because, oh, but I don't want to go back to that, and then you're really in this cycle of self-doubt as well.
I know, and it's so true what you say that I've lost my train of thought there. It'll come back to me. My brilliant subconscious mind will bring it back. Yeah, we are constantly feeling that we have to, you know, go by the rules as it's. Like it's, and you have to have that. Like you need to work until your fingers bleed, or you need to,
Yes.
you need to. You need to work really, really, really,
Money
really,
doesn't
really,
come
really
from thin
hard.
air. Yes.
Yeah, or it doesn't grow on trees, or
Yeah.
all these beliefs that we've had. So it's so true. Everything you say, yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny you pick those sayings for money, because mine was, you have to work hard for your money. You have to work every day. You have to, money doesn't grow on trees. But then people break that down. It's like, actually, most money's made from paper. It actually
Does
comes from
yeah.
trees.
And it's money is energy anyway. We
That's
give
it.
too much value to a piece of paper. It's just energy. It just flows. It just flows from one to another to another. Like we give so much value to it. Too much value. Too much power to it.
That's it. And you have to have a
Yeah.
really nice relationship with money. Like,
We do.
yeah. And I heard someone saying you should give your money a name, like, and so then
Mm,
you talk to it lovingly, like, oh, thank you for growing
mm.
today, and thank you for coming in.
Ex-
Yeah.
I know I was told this from a mentor of mine, and she said that she puts, and I've started to do it, like I started to do it probably years ago, and it's unbelievable. Like she puts a notice on her phone to go off for like money gratitude. So she opens up her bank account, and no matter what's in the bank account, whether it's large or small or minus, she just thanks it. She holds the phone up and says, thank you one, thank you two, thank you three, thank you, thank you, thank you. Be grateful for it and see the magic happen. And you'll notice a change. When you're grateful for things that are just so small, even whether it's like I said to you, I found a 20 euro
Yes.
in my pocket, like, oh my god, I found 20 euro. That brain will bring in another 20 euro, because if like the universe or whatever you believe in, think that you're in a money in lacking in money, it'll be like, okay, well, you obviously, you're too closed off, and you need to be open, and then money and abundance and everything, and be grateful for every single thing. Like I when I boil the kettle in the morning, I'm always grateful for the electricity that boils the kettle. When I make my coffee, I'm so grateful for the person in another country that pulled the beans to make the coffee, and all
Yeah.
these small things and then when you notice all the small things you're grateful for, then only other things can come to you.
Yeah, it's so true. And then what I've
Mindset.
started doing with money too is when I pay a bill, or like go and get
Mm,
petrol for my car, I say, thank you, may it
thank you.
return to me 80 times. So, and when I, people pay me, I say to them, may it return to you 10 times or 80 times or whatever. And I actually said that to a child the other day, and he's like, what does that mean? I said, well, you paid me $5. I hope you get 500 back. And he's like, oh, thank you. You
Yeah.
know?
And I'll give you an example of this.
Yeah.
Myself and my daughter, we were walking on the beach, and there was a lady in front and a child, and they weren't that far ahead, but they were just there and just walking ahead, and myself and my daughter were walking up, and this lady actually stepped on a 10-euro note, and after she stepped, she walked on, and both myself and my daughter, without even saying anything to each other, we both saw that on the ground. We both saw it on the beach, and and my daughter was like, "Oh my God, I saw that money as well," and we had the conversation about when you tune yourself into whatever it is you want, whether it's the money or whatever, you will just see it. And we saw the 10 euro on the beach where that lady just literally, her foot stepped on it and she walked over it. And it was there for her as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's like you were saying before too, with your reticular activating system, if you
Mm-hmm.
are always feeling you're in lack, it's not going to see that money because it's like, well, we don't have any money. We can't see it anywhere around us. Whereas if you give gratitude for, like you were saying, just for whatever's in your bank account, then you're going to start
Yeah.
seeing the money because you're seeing it every day.
Yes.
And you're giving
Yes,
gratitude for
because
it.
opportunities come your way, and
Exactly.
before you might have, like before, maybe I might have pushed them away, but when you open yourself up, when you open yourself up to so much, opportunities will just come your way, and you'll say, "Thank you, yes, please, I'll have
Exactly.
a bit of that. Yes,
Yes.
let's go talk to that person. Let's do this." And
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
that's the whole mindset coaching. That's the whole mindset shift. When you shift your mind, you can do so much, Catherine, and you know that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so powerful. It's just
So,
amazingly powerful when you tap into that
yeah.
subconscious and you can rewrite your
Yeah.
story. It definitely makes massive change in your life. So
Yeah. Yeah.
as we finish our time together, Elizabeth, we could talk all night. We really could. But as we round up our time, I often ask guests if they had one thing that they could share with the world to cause a healing event or just something that people could heal, what would it be?
Okay. So, um, I would love if people could understand the incredible power of their own minds. Like I said, if everyone realized how much control, like I said earlier, that they truly have, over their lives and their future by tapping into their subconscious. Um, they could, like me, break free from anxiety and self doubt and fear, and they too can create a life that feels aligned and fulfilled. And it's a shift that would transform so many individuals, and it has like a domino effect. When I notice with clients that they say that their home has become such more like harmonious, you know, that their children, like, are like, if a very anxious parent, or somebody always worrying, they're projecting that onto their children. So if they're coming from a different space, then everybody around them, will be calmer, and um, will just, and they will see the calmness. That's another thing. They will see the calmness. So I wish more people would tap into the subconscious mind, read books, seek out hypnotherapists like myself, because they can truly change their lives. It's so powerful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So, if anyone wants to get in contact her, you can check out the show notes. You can connect with her on her socials or through her website. And thank you again for your time, Elizabeth. It's been a beautiful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Just before we leave, can I
Oh,
just say
yes,
that I
go
have a
for it.
gift for everyone
Yes,
listening? Yes.
yes, yes.
So I have a free gift to share with you all. It's an 8-minute audio. Might seem really small, but very powerful. So it's designed to reset the mind and calm anxiety. So it's perfect if you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or just need a quick mental boost. It's like I like to call it, because I would do self hypnosis every day. So this is a power nap for the mind. I power nap every afternoon with just like 8 or 10 minutes of hypnosis, and it'll have you feeling less tense, grounded, and just like face your day if you listen to it every morning, just with renewed confidence. And like you say, you put the link to that, and that would be wonderful. I hope everybody goes and gets that. And yeah, thank you so much, Catherine. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
Loved
and
everything
thank
you've
you
done.
so much for sharing that beautiful gift with listeners. So if you're putting it off and your mind's like, oh, that's not going to work for me, step out of that negative self-talk, people, and just try it.
What have you got to lose?
That's right.
Absolutely not.
That's right. Thank you again, Elizabeth. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.